This is Elaine Gibson, and I'm talking to Mary Andrews, née Fitkin. She was born on the 23rd of the 1st, 1921, and she lives with her husband Douglas in Limes Avenue, Aylesbury. Now, Mary, you tell me where you were born.
I was born in the Poplars.
In Weston
Turville, West End, Weston Turville. And
were you born at home?
I was born at home, yes. Because then there weren't so many nursing homes and things to go to, so we had a private nurse.
And what was your mother's name?
My mother's name was Eva Augusta Oakley.
Mm-hmm. And how did she meet your father?
Well, she went to work in a bank in London when she was, I suppose, late teens, and she met my father. He used to go into the bank for his money when he was at home, and we met her there.
And what was his name?
Barrington Thomas Fitkin.
And he was an architect, I believe?
Yes, he was, but at that time he was a naval officer when he met my mother in the war.
And after the war?
After the war, he became an architect, and also he did a little small holding as well in the fields that he owned.
Did he work in the War Office for a short time?
Yes, he did.
Right.
Yes.
And were you the only child?
No, there were two of us. But unfortunately, my sister had ill health all her life, and it was a great loss to everyone. But we did what we could. Looked at, and she had postnatal depression when she was married, and she was unable to cope with the baby. So my mother, would be my mother, would it?
It would be, yes.
My mother looked after the little girl until she was 7.
Before we come to that, can you tell us a little bit about West End, what it was like when you lived there?
Yes. West End, it was like a little private road. There were cottages and small houses on either side, and there was a little shop halfway up, another shop on the main road, and the friends opposite who lived in the Crown, was it the Crown? They used to have horses and go riding from there.
At the bottom of the lane,
yes.
Did it turn Furlong Lane then?
No.
What was it called?
Turn Furlong Lane is near Aylesbury.
So the lane that went to the bottom of West End, did it cut through to Turn Furlong Lane?
Well, it probably did, round the houses, But I can't tell you the name of it.
Right.
It was probably, you could go for a walk, to that. Absolutely.
And there was a public footpath across the front of your house?
Yes, there was, for the cricketers.
For the cricketers?
Yes.
What did the cricketers do then?
The cricketers used to go for a cup of tea on a Saturday afternoon when they were playing cricket.
Where did they go for tea?
To the Chandos.
To the Chandos, right.
But I don't know where they used to play. So I just used to see them in all their whites and chatting across the field.
You said your father had like a small holding.
Yes.
And did he rent some of his fields out?
Yes, he did, to Mr. Purcell, a great friend.
And what did you call him, Uncle?
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie. He was your father's
best friend. A lovely man he was too. Everybody was very fond of him. He didn't have a wife, he lived alone. But he was so helpful and nice.
Do you have any early memories of living in the Poplars?
Living in the Poplars? No.
When you were about 5, you mentioned to me about a flood or something?
Oh, yes, we had a flood in the garden at the front, and the water was about that high.
What, about a foot high?
And my father,
3 feet high.
And I remember him standing with me on a raised piece beyond,
So that
sort of waiting for the water to go, I suppose. It must have been a thunderstorm or something. I don't remember that. I only remember standing there with him, with my boots on, you know.
in the water.
Yeah.
He expected you to help him, didn't he?
We did, yes, when I was a bit older.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that wanted doing, let's say half a tree fell down in a gale, he'd say, Mary, I want you this morning, I'll get the saw out, we're going to saw that branch off. So I mean, and we got to this, doing this, I remember doing it to this day. Chopping off this branch.
That's quite tough work for
Yeah,
a little
it
girl.
was, yes.
Tell me which school you went to.
I went to the one at Wendover, Lady Margaret it was then.
Was that in Coniston House?
Yeah, I don't know what they call it. Lady Margaret was the name of it. I don't know what I told you.
Was that in Dobbins Lane?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And they had huts for classrooms in the garden?
Yes, they did. And we used to have little plays, the Midsummer Night's Dream and things like that.
Very
And
nice.
have be all dressed up.
But your sister didn't go to that school?
No, she went to Provendal. My father thought it would be a better school for her. He didn't think she'd cope with the other one.
Did you like school?
Well, yes, I quite liked it, but I didn't like the food, because we had to eat all our food up, and it was fig pudding, and I don't like fig pudding.
Where did you go from that school?
From the one in Wendover,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to grammar school for a short while, and Felicity, she was at Provendal. She stayed till 16 at Provendal. So, and I had to leave because my father wanted me to do secretarial work,
Right. And
bookkeeping,
and you
shorthand typing and all that.
where did you study your shorthand and typing?
Miss Harper. I think she lived in somewhere, in a little house in Aylesbury somewhere. I can't quite remember where. She was a little lady, but yeah, I think it must have been down Buckingham Road area.
And where was your first job then?
My first job was, I wonder if that was the first one I think I had, the insurance with Mr. Edwards. He was in charge of the office. And I used to do all the typing and everything else.
That was in Aylesbury.
In Aylesbury.
How did you get to work?
Can't remember.
Because your father did have a car.
He did.
didn't he?
Maybe he dropped me off. I can't remember that.
It'll come to you.
Yeah.
Now, you met Douglas Andrews, didn't
Yes. After the war.
you? After the war. Because what happened in the war to you?
What happened in the war?
You enlisted, didn't you?
Yes, joined. Yes.
What did you join?
I joined the ATF because I wanted to join the Navy, but there weren't any vacancies. So,
And you became a secretary
yes.
to the...
Same sort of work as I was doing in Cemetery.
Right.
Mm.
With the CO, yes?
Yes, that's right.
So you were a bigwig.
Yeah. Well, I think most of the officers and that were quite in the army. They were all similar rank. They weren't snobby or anything like that.
So you were in the army for 4 years?
Yes.
And then your jobs were kept open in
Yes,
Civvy
when I
Street?
came back. I worked for the County Fire Insurance.
Right.
Just remembered that. I don't know whether it's still going now. and they kept my job open and paid me all the time I was in the forces.
Very good. And then that's when you met Douglas.
Yes, I met him.
Now Douglas's birthday's soon, isn't it?
Yeah,
the 17th of October. And he was born 1917.
That's right.
Very good.
He doesn't let anybody forget it. We keep that. I am 87 on Sunday, aren't I?
And he worked for Aylesbury Borough Council.
Yes, that's right. He's the health. He was working in health. I was in the main office dealing with all correspondence and things.
And you started walking out together?
Well, it just so happened because it was, you can't believe how very quiet everything was after the war. And we all got demobbed and come back. And it was just like another world. You didn't know anybody. No? Oh, sorry.
So when you were in the army,
yes,
you had a very busy life, lots
yes,
of people, lots of activity.
When you come out, there's nothing.
That must have been quite tough.
It was. And that's what Doug said. We didn't know anyone. And we're getting older, of course, all the time. So, as we'd both been in the forces, about the only two on the council, that we just suddenly went to Watford. And he got a little car, you see. You should take me his car.
Very nice. And you've just had your golden wedding
Golden
anniversary.
wedding, yes.
That is quite something. Mm-hmm. And where did you have that?
At the Hartwell House.
Very nice indeed. Mm. You were married in Weston Turville?
Weston Turville, yes. I've got pictures of me being married somewhere.
And after you were married, where did you live?
We went into the little cottage because at that time they were requisitioning all the little cottages and houses that were vacant and putting people into them, you see.
So which cottage was this?
The little thatched one.
Whereabouts was that?
Next to the poplars, then that one, then that one.
So that one's called Apple Straw Cottage
yes,
now?
Yeah.
So that's the one you went into?
Yes, well that wasn't the name of it then.
No.
No.
And you stayed there till you had the children?
Yes, because you see we only had 2 bedrooms. So when we had a boy and a girl,
of course,
we said, well, we shall have to move.
And I believe that was in 1961.
That's right, that's what Felicity said.
Yes. Now, your father, he owned the Poplars, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And I believe he owned some other properties.
Yes, he did.
He
owned quite a lot of property in the village.
How many properties did the Fitkins own at one time?
I can't really tell you, I'm sorry.
No, over?
Over 20, I think.
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yes.
Now tell me about your sister. Your sister was called Betty.
Yes,
that wasn't her christened name, was it?
No, Eileen Elizabeth.
Eileen Elizabeth. And she married?
She married John Paul. P-O-L-L.
And they had a baby girl?
Yes.
Called Christine?
Christine.
Right. But she got postnatal depression, you said?
Yes, she did. And they didn't know how to treat it. And my father, fortunately, had enough money to get professional treatment for her. And she went up to Harley Street to the best doctor up there. And he said prefrontal leukotomy. And so he severed her brain. Yeah. And then that was the end of her because, you see, she wouldn't respond to any drugs. And they said, had she not had that done and had the drugs they've got today, wonderful drugs, she'd have been all right. So that's sad, isn't it?
It is sad, yes.
One of those sad things that happens in life.
You said she was never the same again.
No.
And she had to live in a nursing home.
Yes, she did, that's right.
And she's just recently died.
Yes, that's right.
So it was a blessed release for
her,
was it?
I think it was.
She was 80.
Although she was very happy in that nursing home. They were very kind to her. So...
Now your mother I believe,
Yeah.
used to cook Sunday lunch for somebody.
For the old Bunces, 2 doors away, in the cottage, you know. And,
That was very kind of her.
well, she used to feel sorry for them.
I believe he was a unusual gentleman.
Yes, he was. He used to wear a bowler hat. And he had a black suit, not that high and thick. But he was very nice old chap, really.
And he had a Bucks accent.
Oh, he
didn't
did, yeah. He used to call his wife the old creature. The old creature. And they called him Downey.
Dally.
Hello, Downey.
They had nicknames for everything.
They
didn't
did,
they?
yes. They did.
Even the fields.
Yes.
Now, your mother died in Tyndall Hospital,
Yes,
didn't
she did.
She had cancer.
Cancer, yes, she did.
And your father, he lived another 10 years?
Yes, he did, on his own in a bungalow. A thing we thought he would never be able to do. He took to it, he never looked after himself. And I'll just tell you this funny little thing, perhaps I told you before. I used to do his shopping. And he likes Marks and Spencer's cake, among other things. Bring me some cake, please. But he didn't like butter. So you couldn't take him anything that got butter written on it because he wouldn't eat it. So Mary got wise. She had to keep buying cakes for him. He said, "This has got butter on it. I can't eat that. Take it back." So I thought to myself, what can I do here? So anyway, then I thought, well, if I cut the word butter out, put a piece of sellotape over the top, you'd never know. And he didn't. He didn't know. And he was eating this cake with butter in it. Loved it.
Tell me about your 2 children.
No.
You had your 2 children and they were born in West End.
West End, that's right.
And their names?
Christopher and Felicity.
Christopher's got the Barrington in his name,
Yes,
hasn't
he has. And she's got the Mary.
And she's got the Mary.
Mm.
And he's married.
Christopher, yes.
And do they have any children?
Yes, 2 boys. Mm-hmm. One was round. The one that was here earlier was, Oliver.
And your daughter is Felicity Mary.
That's right.
Is she named Felicity after the midwife?
No, she's named Felicity because I liked the name. From the wakes when we used to go playing. And I loved this girl who was called Felicity. She was a really nice girl.
Right.
And I said, if I ever have a daughter, I want her to be Felicity.
And she married Nicholas Walker,
yes.
who unfortunately died at 50, didn't
That's
he?
right, it did. Very sad.
Now, what did you used to do with your free time when you lived in Weston Turville?
Well, we didn't get much, because we were always out doing something in the fields or doing something.
So there were church socials, wasn't
yes,
there?
that's right.
And fetes.
And all those sorts of things.
And
we didn't...
Were you friends with the Cox girls?
Yes. Nice girls there. I told you, I remember them being born. My mother said to me, come on, we're going up to see the Cox twins. And I remember her taking me, and they're tiny little babies.
That's nice. You used to go dancing, didn't you, in Aylesbury?
Aylesbury at the Bull's Head. I liked dancing.
Was it a sneezing place, or was it, what kind of place was it?
A very old, the Bull's Head, a very old, worldly place. Very nice, no nasties in there.
So
nice people.
It was upmarket.
Yes, that's the word.
And your father
would allow me to go to that dance and book the taxi, but he wouldn't let me go anywhere else. Mary was only allowed to go to the Bull's Head to dance, and the taxi will bring her back. And he used to tell the taxi man to go in on the dance floor and get me, put me in the car.
But you weren't allowed to go to the cinema?
No, because that was a bit down market.
So you were telling me there were always things to do, such as washing and mending.
Because we had to mend if there were ever a button came off or anything like that.
Right, and you used to bake cakes, I believe, for the fates.
Do like that.
Now then, tell me, you mentioned a Miss Tompkins.
Tompkins, did I? Where'd she live?
In the main road.
In the
you
main...
used to go to the shop there.
Yeah,
paraffin and potatoes?
Oh, yes, that's right, yes. Was her name Tompkins? Yes, that's right, it was.
And who was the other shop? Who lived?
Kempster.
Miss Kempster.
Miss Kempster.
And she lived with her niece?
Niece, that's right.
And
neither of them were married.
No, what did she sell?
Anything. Sweets and anything. Anything for making cakes or... So you could get anything at Miss Kempster's if you had run out of anything.
And where was the post office?
And that was in the main piece. Street.
Whereabouts?
On the right-hand side. No, wait a minute. I think it was the post office was there at certain times. One time it was on the right, and the other time it was on the left.
It was near the Hague Hall, wasn't it?
That's right.
Did you go to the Hague Hall a lot?
Yes, when there were functions.
So what is your most vivid impression of living in Weston Turville?
I don't know, really.
Now, when I asked you that earlier, you said it was your father.
Oh, him. Well, I mean, he was part of life.
How would you describe him?
Victorian, cross old man.
Disciplinarian, I think you're trying to say.
That's right. Yes, mind you, he had his good points. He was a sensible man and, you know, he was clever in his way and used to write beautiful letters.
Larger-than-life character.
That's right, yes.
Yes.
But you couldn't do anything wrong. Nothing.
So he dominated you.
Yes, and if Betty did anything wrong, I used to get the blame for it. And when we were little, if she was naughty at all, I used to get a smack. Me!
Because she was naughty?
Yeah.
Because you were the eldest?
She was his favourite.
Ah. Now, you say you used to go for walks around the village with Miss Jameson?
Yes, well, not so much walks. We used to see her at her house more. Mm-hmm. I can't remember going for walks with her. I think we used to meet her at church sometime.
Right. And what about Lady Wake?
Oh, little Lady Wake, she was lovely. She was a real character now.
She was Victorian?
Oh, yes. Hair all done up this bit. Yeah.
And what did she wear?
Black, always black. Long. Used to have nice hats.
How did you know her?
Well, I think it must have been my dad getting to know her through the British Legion. And then she invited us to go to her grandchildren. Her grandchildren used to go and stay with her. And then they hadn't got any company, nobody to play with. And they weren't allowed to play with the ordinary village people.
So you were specially invited to the manor house?
That's right.
To play?
Yes.
And she used to have these...
Pekingese.
Yeah, Pekingese, you said.
2 little Pekingese.
And invite your father for dinner?
Yes. He used to arrive at night with his best shoes on.
So she was quite a character
too.
Oh,
she was, yeah. They make a good pair, the two of them. Except that he was big and she was little.
Tell me about your life now.
Life now? A bit restricted with 2 poor old legs, but there we are. Don't let it, spoil your life. I won't do that, I mean. It's unfortunate, and I said to my physiotherapist yesterday, I said, look, I'm sure I could walk. She said, you could. I said, well, why won't you let me then? So she said, well, the reason is that I don't want you falling over. And if you were to fall over on one of those days, you'd have a broken leg, and you'd be worse off than you are now. I said, well, I still want to walk. Leave it for a rest.
So you have carers that come in?
Yes.
And they see to you morning and evening?
Do what you want done.
You have the physiotherapists come in to
exercise.
Yeah, well,
that's private. I have to pay for that.
You pay for that.
You can't get that under the National Health.
Right.
But I think it's important, and so do my family.
Yes.
Because you could sit here and never move your limbs, whereas when she has you exercising every part of your body, and I think it's important.
Yes, it is.
I know it costs me a lot of money.
Your family are very supportive, aren't
They are. And Christopher said, well, you don't go out quite as much as you used to, so spend the money on yourself.
He's quite right. He's quite right.
So that's what we're doing at the moment.
And Douglas is not very well at the moment, is he?
No. No. I think he's getting on all right.
Good.
But he likes to be a patient, I think, too. He likes to read his books and sit in bed, and we waited on we can't.
So you have plenty of visitors.
Oh yes, we do. We're lucky, really. I've got a lot of women friends. I've known many years. They're very nice.
And do you know Gladys Axel?
Oh, ever so well. Did you mention to her about me?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you would. She's a sweetie.
She's our next recording.
Is she? Oh, she'll make a good one then.
And were you girls together?
Oh, I suppose we were. I can't remember it. Yes, about the same age.
Yes.
And she writes to me every week.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
That's very good.
Yes, and I try and write that, but you can't always think of something to say.
No. Well, thank you very much for giving us your time and
thank
recording
you.
your memories.
Have we been recording all the time we've been talking?
Yes, we have.
I wonder what it will say, what it will sound like. 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 It will